There's a referee controlling the setup. If Devon is cheating and the two referees do not catch it, and Prudnick does not disagree, then is it really cheating? I mean, it sounds to me the setup is part of the sport. Always has been, always will. At some point, we should just use a robotic arm everyone can pull how they like and measure everyone's strength if we want to stop people from manipulating the setup with their opponents. One remarkable thing about how Devon arm wrestles is how he watches his opponent's face and eyes when in a competitive match. In this round after the go, you can see this. He is looking for the sign on his opponent's face that he has reached the breaking point. It's pretty cool to see. It seems like he does this more than others, probs due to his crazy endurance. It would be great to find out that Devon actually crop dusted all of them and blamed it on Prudnick. I know this is sarcasm, but if someone did that to me at the table, I'd be so confused and caught off guard that it's quite possible it would be responsible for at least a 15-20 loss of power in that first pull on top of an already 5-10 drop in stamina from a chemical attack. That's where Devon's forearm length was helpful. Prudnick was trying to get a good grip and match webbing, but his elbow had to come off the pad in order to sew. Devon is very crafty in the setup. Also, with Devon and his wife in the background yelling at the ref to keep Prudnick's elbow down, it was a masterful display of how to apply pressure. Gaining height and covering most of Prudnick's thumb, Devon had all the control. Prudnick was never gonna win. If the setup was fair, then I don't know. Just goes to show the level that Devon was on when he pulled John. He was able to manipulate the setup the same way, except he didn't need to resort to the fart tactic. Devon will try to get the high hand in the setup and not match the webbings. He did it against John too, and it frustrated him. Ref's responsibility to make sure that happens. All that said, Prudnick and Devon had a great sense of humor and bantered back and forth the whole time leading up. I'm sure Devon thought crop dusting him and bringing attention to it. Devon probably thought Prudnick would be distracted and crack up. Devon was going to win this fight. I believe that was clear to the professionals that watched in the room. Jody is also a master in playing games and confusing. She was distracting, and I'm sure it distracted the refs. But that was probably their Devon and Jody's idea. Distraction was key. Along with Mrs. Larratt screaming from the corner, Prudnick was outsmarted. During his match with the GOAT himself, John Brzenk, last year, there was a lot of call-outs from John on how Devon manipulates the setup. How can one doubt the GOAT? You gotta feel bad for Prudnick because he wasn't as observant as John. Devon only does stuff like that for a distraction, to make everyone look at his face and not his hands. If he doesn't get the grip he wants, then he causes a scene. Gets the ref's attention any way possible. The fart theory is kinda weak, although it was probably intentional in him. Jody yelling elbow was far worse. At this moment, you can see the problem. Prudnick was pressing into Devon's palm at a super low point. No chance he's pinning him there. Devon's weakness is his fingers. Pull back with a king's move, crack open the fingers, climb, then press. Devon's longer arm also presents as a longer lever to produce more torque on. Don't pull him low on his hand. Devon moves before in such a critical height position. Everyone wants to take some advantage at the setup before the start, but not like this with your elbow moving and your post rising. After that, John start to pushing off the center because the referee is blind. This is about criticism of Devon Larratt not being able to perform in any rule format because he knows he will have a very hard time. He cannot extend his arms like Michael. So how the king's move is legal then? Try to hold kings when you have healthy elbows in full range. Very difficult. So he is resting in that move on his disability.